Protesters took over the Prime Minister's Calgary office today. They're trying to get Stephen Harper to step in to help a Canadian man destined to be jailed in the U.S. Alyssa Carpenter reports.
Free Marc Emery! Marc Emery!
It's not your everyday sight. A marijuana flag flies from the terrace of the Prime Minister's constituency office in southwest Calgary.
We are being peaceful and respectful, and so are the Calgary Police Service, and we appreciate that.
Inside, about a dozen people occupy the office, even rolling joints on the tables and desks. And the man rolling up the marijuana does so under a Health Canada exemption.
Like 7% of the population, I don't respond to opiate-based painkillers. So that means morphine, codeine, OxyContin, Dilaudid, all of those are derived from opium, and in 7% of people, they are not active. And so the only choice I had left, according to my doctor, was cannabis.
The group says they will continue their peaceful occupations until the federal government demands Marc Emery be returned to Canada. Emery is Canada's self-proclaimed Prince of Pot. He has sold millions of marijuana seeds to users all over the world. In 2003, Canadian Crown prosecutors decided not to pursue charges against Emery, but the U.S. has indicted him. And on May 10th, Canada's Justice Minister signed the extradition order. Emery is to serve at least 5 years in an American jail.
And that's why this is absolutely unjust, that as a Canadian who never went to the United States, who did all his activities here in Canada and wasn't able to get charged under Canadian law, should not be sent off to a foreign country where he faced life in prison. It's just completely unjust.
City police kept a presence but didn't remove any protesters.
Right now we're just trying to maintain the peace and be mediators in this.
Emery is scheduled to leave Canadian soil later this week or early next.
Alyssa, if occupying the Prime Minister's office doesn't work, what is Emery's next move?
Well, if those occupations that will continue throughout the next few days do not work, then the next step will be for Marc Emery himself to apply to be returned to Canada. Canadian prisoners who are in the U.S. federal prison system can apply to be returned to Canada to serve their time here in Canada, but first he has to physically be in the U.S., in a U.S. jail before he can even make that application, so still looks like it could be several months before they get an answer. I can tell you as well that City Police here were in contact with the Prime Minister's office throughout the 4 hours, and there was a move at one point to try and close this office early. However, the protesters found a copy of the Canadian Charter, which conveniently is in the Prime Minister's office. It stated that they were allowed to be in the building and in that office until the time that it regularly closes. That is 5 o'clock, so they stayed until 5 o'clock and then left peacefully.
Okay, thank you, Alyssa.